So today, I have not prepared this. I have subscribed to OA Beans. I'm going to test it out as a sourcing challenge for online arbitrage here and see if their lead list can give me some good products that I can actually go ahead and buy. So here's the first example of the list that they sent out yesterday. We're just going to run through a lot of these ASINs really quickly and see if we can actually sell them via the Amazon catalog. That's the first step always. Now we're going to paste the first ASIN into Seller Central, and right off the bat, you can see that we need to apply to sell it. Tory Burch is a pretty prominent brand. And I always like to request approval just to see if I'm auto-ungated, since I've sold a lot on Amazon in the past. Typically speaking, I can get auto-ungated for a decent amount of product categories and a decent amount of product brands. This one is not one of those cases. And so if I wanted to get ungated for any one of these specific brands and products on the lead list, there are many ways I can go about it. I could obviously find a wholesale supplier, source 10 plus of that specific quantity. Also, there are some workarounds with some retail suppliers online, so it depends brand to brand and what Amazon will accept. But also, if you go back to OA Lead's website and you scroll down, they also offer a fully ungating service to ungate you for any one of these products. So that works very well as well if you run into that issue and for whatever reason you don't want to buy 10 plus quantity from a supplier and utilize that invoice showing that, they can do it for you, okay? It also comes with an FBA calculator if you want to use that, although I'm going to use the one in Seller Central right here just to keep it simple. So the first one we're gated for, the second one probably gated because it's a video game and I've never ungated this category. There we go. Next one's sporting goods. See how much faster it is to just check these in the first place? That one's gated as well. Tools and home improvement. This one might be promising. I'm usually ungated for a lot of these. Nope. Not for Arlington Industries. Maybe we will. Nope. All right, so we're approved for the Transformers toys when we request approval here. So let's check into this one. So now we're going to come back to the lead list. We're going to see where to source it from. We source it from Walmart here. A lot of times it won't be Walmart. I've seen a ton of random suppliers that I didn't even know existed half the time, which is good because that means a lot of other people won't as well. So this currently is selling for $5.99 on Walmart. Currently, it's selling for $16 on Amazon. So there is a price difference there. Now, the first thing that we want to make sure is what's the profit range here. So if we take that ASIN and we go back into the revenue calculator, paste it in there, it's going to tell us right off the bat that it's selling for $17.24, although currently the buy box price I think is $15.99. Depending on how seasoned your account is and how accurate and aggressive your repricer is, you could potentially sell it for more, although I don't like to assume that. I typically like to assume that I'm going to sell it at buy box price, especially when it's sourced. That gives you a little bit of wiggle room and make sure that you still have built-in margin anyway, okay? So the next thing we want to take is the actual sale here. So it's $6 on Amazon right here after the sale. Take that back in, scroll all the way down. We're going to say $6 is the cost of goods. Shipping into Amazon is going to be $1 here, and that leaves us with a $1.35 profit. So even if it was 50 cents into Amazon, if we bought a few, you'd still be making $2 here. So that is still a profitable product. So first list done, not the best here, $2 profit margin. But again, that's just the base list there of 10. You could always upgrade in the future if you want to. Just 10 leads comes in that basic list. Let's go back one more day here. We'll check this one. So we're going to start running 3 ASINs through. Maybe there'll be a great one here. So here's another one that I found that I'm able to sell really fast without the ungating service or without buying a 10 plus quantity. So let's check it. This one is also Walmart as well. So $35 on Walmart currently. It is selling for $63 on Amazon. So a lot of margin with this one. First thing we want to do, obviously, is check the profit margin on that, although there's plenty of wiggle room there. So pretty sure that it's going to be there. It's selling 48 daily units, so it's selling plenty. Next thing, obviously, we want to make sure is the competition on the listing here. I use a plugin called Online Seller Add-on for that. So as you can see, there's not that many sellers. It looks like 8 offers currently. A lot of them only have 1, with World Distribution having 1,000 and M&L Logo Stores and Traveler having a few. So not that competitive here. These people up here, the top 3, are only selling this in collectible condition. So realistically, the only people that you're competing against are these 5 sellers here. So you're really only sharing the buy box with 5 other sellers in this instance. So now let's check if it's a profitable product. So we'll paste the ASIN in here, which the buy box price currently is $63.64. So we're going to switch that. $63.64. We're going to scroll down and then input the cost of goods to us. So it's $35 on Amazon. We're going to estimate that it's going to cost us $1 to ship it into FBA if we ship a bunch in at once. So the net margin here, this is a profitable product at $9.13 with an average margin of a little bit over 14%. So this is a pretty good product that it just spoon fed us. Again, $35 here. I X'd out of it for some reason on Amazon. $63.64. Again, it's selling, I think it was 40 units a day or something like that. So we'll use Jungle Scout really quickly. If you don't want to use the Jungle Scout extension, I will link that in the description if you want to check that out. But if you don't want to use the extension, you could always just Google the free one. It is a free estimator. It will take you more time to paste in every time and check it because you have to input the category and scroll down on the Amazon listing and find that category. But it is a free alternative if you don't want to pay for the Jungle Scout extension. Now, this is selling roughly 50 units a day, so that's pretty solid. And you're only competing with 5 other sellers. So not that many people to share the buy box with, selling well, and it's profitable at $9 every single time you sell this. I would say that this is probably a good product. I'd give this one an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Pretty good. Let's check the last 2 on this list. And it looks like we can sell this one right here. So we'll check this one out. Pull up both of the links here. This one's sold by Midway USA, another supplier I've never heard of. $15 there. It's selling for $29 on Amazon here. It is the same thing, 200 pieces. Predator Polymag. So now we want to check the Amazon listing, obviously. We know that there's a price difference there. We'll see how profitable it is in a second, but let's check the actual sales to make sure it's selling, right? Because if it's profitable, but it's never selling, then it's not something that we want to buy. So this isn't selling as much as the other one, obviously, only 45 monthly units and 1 a day. But what's the competition on the listing look like? Maybe there's only a few sellers. So currently, there are only 3 sellers on this, and they're all FBM, which is a good sign for us because while one of them has 437 of these units, all of these people are selling this FBM, and there's no other competing FBA seller on this. So that means that if we ship this product into FBA, not only would we probably get a majority of those sales, but we could also list it higher than everybody else and still steal the buy box for a majority of the time. So that's pretty promising right there. It's selling $29 on Amazon currently. So let's take this into the revenue calculator. It's got it at the right price. So we'll scroll down. We'll input our cost of goods, which is $14.99. We'll round that up to 15. We'll assume that it will cost us $1 to ship it in. Again, if we ship everything in at once, it doesn't cost that much. And so this is a profit of $4.17 each time if we sell it at the buy box price there. The margin, again, is over 14%. So another pretty solid buy. Not as much profit here, but same profit margin. Another pretty solid product. I give this one like a 6 or a 7. But between these two, you could buy a bunch of these and make $100, $200, maybe $300 very easily, especially if you just sell a dozen of this one. So let's go one more day back here and we'll check this list. Going to run through some of these ASINs. All right, so we can sell this one, the 5 pounds of crab seasoning here. So this one also looks like it's a pretty solid margin here at $10 profit. This one's sold on Webstaurant, it looks like, at $18. This one sells on Amazon for $43. So again, plenty of margin there. We're going to check that specifically here in a second. But let's see the actual sales on the listing. So 5 daily units, 200 monthly units. But what's the competition? How many sellers are on this listing? So there's 4 people on the listing with not that many in inventory. 2 of them are FBM sellers and 2 of them are FBA sellers, right? So realistically, if we ship this into FBA, we are sharing the buy box with everybody, but realistically, we'll share the buy box more with the 2 FBA sellers, right? So this isn't necessarily a bad product here. We want to check it a little bit further. So knowing that it's $18 here on Webstaurant, and it's $14 here, and it's $43 on Amazon, we're going to take that into the revenue calculator. 14 and 43, 18 and 43. So $18 cost of goods. This one looks a little bit heavier because it's 5 pounds. So we're going to round up to $2.50 here. Well, it's probably, if we buy a bunch, it'll only be 2. But if we don't buy a lot, it'll be $2.50. So if it's $2, then our margin here is 16% with an average profit of $7.06 for every unit sold. So not bad. If it costs us $2.50 to ship them in, well, then we're still making $6.50 and the margin goes down to 15%. So this is another good product here where you can make a decent amount of money. If you sold even 10 of these, that's like $60, $70, which realistically wouldn't be out of the equation. And you could do that very quickly because there's only 4 other sellers on this listing. Only 2 of them are FBA. It's already selling 5 a day. So that means that realistically, once you get in there and you get ranked with the other sellers and you start sharing the buy box, you would at least sell 1 of these a day, at least, right? So then if you buy 10 of them, 10 days later, which is like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks max, You've cleared out your inventory. You've made that 60, 70 bucks. This is a pretty solid one. I'm going to give this one a 7, right? And so you guys get the picture. I'm not going to waste your time, continue sourcing through these lead lists, but I would give OA Beans actually a pretty solid grade here. I'm very impressed. And I've told everybody for the longest time not to use these lead lists because you never know how many people are actually getting them. But OA Beans only gives them out to a certain amount of people for each specific list. So you know that you're not competing with everybody else and their sister and their brother and their mother, right? Honestly, very impressed with OA Beans. If you'd like to try it, you can do so through the first link in the description. I'm going to continue sourcing here, seeing what else I can find, and maybe I'll make another video in the future. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. But as always, this is just what works for me. Hope it helps.